People can make money off of Pulse. Pulsex was solely created as a DAO, and it's not being used as that right now. So it's literally
I don't
pointless.
think
It's a
I
useless
don't
asset.
think it would be a DAO. I think they really wanted it to be, because in my opinion, it's like the mistakes with ETH on its L1 is that ETH is being used as a liquidity providing source. But then if you pair so much to it, then it becomes not the most dominant, and then you have
So what
dominance
is Uniswap?
current.
What is Uniswap doing? Is that paired within a lot of the stuff?
Well, no, Uniswap has no advantage to help Paul like ETH. It has no advantage. It
Yeah,
just
Uni,
is
just
there.
a token.
Yeah,
Just there.
it's just Uni, but Uni token is like that's not where the people make their money on Uni.
I
Same
know.
like Pulsex.
Then
It's
you
like,
could take your Uni and go make money off of your Uni.
yeah, but what's the problem with the liquidity? What's the problem with the price? What's the problem with the system? The system has two dominants. It has a stable coin dominance and it has an ETH dominance. The ETH dominance has went completely down in LP. It went from what 7% ETH in LP, and now we're down to like 2 point something. But most of its dominance is stable coin. Like you cannot have price parity with all this. Both it's going to be so illiquid. Why? Well, because you have stable coins paired to the L1, which is apparently the main source of liquidity for the chain. Which, if you had another coin, aka Uni, right? If Uni was being used as, okay, let's pair Uni high a lot to ETH and to the stable coin, and then every other coin pairs it to this coin because it gets power from these coins, which are worth it. But we're not really using these coins for liquidity. We're using Uni. Well, then the whole system would have liquidity, just like
But
Pulse.
now,
It's like
with it
imagine
being
everyone
liquidity,
used
though,
Pulse
Uni still
X.
can go up and down in price. So that liquidity, if
But it's
you know,
not.
it's no
But it's
utility
not.
for
But it's
Uni.
not. I know you say
So
it can, but it's not. It hasn't, and it won't, because there is no utility for it until they use Uni, right? It will not be worth shit. Now, until we use Pulsex. Now, if you think that using Pulsex and locking it is the way to go, it doesn't make sense. We already have it. People already have it. We have a massive liquidity paired to Pulse. People already have Pulsex. You don't need to buy it. You don't need to buy it. People are selling it, but they're putting it in a pool, and the price is going down because people are selling their Pulse or selling
At this
their
point,
other assets that is paired to Pulse. That's what they're
at
doing.
this very point, like I personally think that in my opinion, like the wrapped Bitcoin on Pulse is a lot more bullish than Pulse X because the richest people on Ethereum held a lot of Bitcoin and they're grandfathered on the Pulse chain.
You know what? That I agree with you. The people have more. Well, wait a minute. Let's say it like this: the wrapped Bitcoin is worth more. It's actually worth something. Like the value of the wrapped Bitcoin doesn't come from Pulse. It actually
Facts.
comes from its availability to redeem, but that's a wrapped asset. So when someone takes that value, right? This has been the problem with every other chain, with Binance, with AVAX, with Arbitrum, with every other L1, not Arbitrum, sorry, with Phantom, with every L1. They have these wrapped in things, and then they get wrapped out because people want to take the money. It's no, the value of the wrapped Bitcoin is not on Pulse Chain. You have a value because of it on Pulse Chain, but the value of it on Pulse Chain is not the value. The value is taking it out. So when people take this value back, well, there goes the value for everyone else. But if you created a pool that was stable enough to take another coin, which is not from the other side, but this coin is highly liquid because you have a lot of it, or people have the opportunity to make so many pairs of it, and now you have a double liquidity, right? You have the normal Pulse liquidity, but you have a Pulse X liquidity, and you could just be liquid through that. And especially with the burn mechanism, if you do it like that, then you're just not even you don't even have to negate the buys that you do because of the buyback. You actually could just burn because it's already Pulse X. So it costs less to do it. So therefore, it more will happen because the more we make Pulse worth, the less Pulse X can be worth it. Because if Pulse becomes super expensive, then it takes less Pulse to burn the same amount of Pulse X. Therefore, we need to make Pulse X less worth it if Pulse becomes more worth it. Because then it means that the little amount of Pulse will burn the same amount of Pulse X. So we just have to counter it. But the way that it's moving together. So every time it gets to a point, Pulse stops because there's too much Pulse X being burned. And then it just drops down its price because people are just taking their Pulse X and just selling it. And then it brings back this fake pump on Pulse. And that's where you get like these 20-30% I feel like on it.
so
And
now
it's like,
that's another pair that like that's why I'm saying Pulse should be tied with die, or like we need more liquidity in the stables. Like you said, ETH was
No, I'd say
tied to
less about
stables
that,
more.
bro. But look
But
how
because
good, like,
that's where it's at. That's where
yeah.
we
But why don't
can
you? Why
get
did the
away from
gentleman?
PulseX,
But why
right?
didn't the gentleman say anything about that? He just said something about wrapped Bitcoin, like to the point where you realize that, to the point where you realize that ETH, that the wrapped ether, the P wrapped ether is 1-to-1 with Pulse. The wrapped ether is 1-to-1 with Pulse. That means that wrapped ETH is Pulse. Therefore, you have two pulses, one at like a million dilution of thing, but it's 1-to-1. Makes no sense how the system is working because of how people are arbitrating. It's stupid, bro. Like you just don't see
I
it
mean,
because no one's
Dimitri did
moving
say
that.
that we're gonna see some new things. It's things that we've never seen before. So us
Yeah.
calling it stupid doesn't make any sense. We don't
No,
know what is
makes
going
total
on.
sense. It makes
If
total
you
sense because
Because
the
it might turn
outcome.
around and
No, but
show
look
us
at the
something
outcome.
different. You know.
But look at the outcome.
I
Everything's
mean, we don't know
dumping.
the outcome yet. The outcome's not
I know.
done.
We know the outcome. I even told you this was gonna
But
be.
you also have to reconsider that stupid things can still go up. So just because it's profitable doesn't mean it's not stupid. And I do agree with you that we're seeing new things. I think that the whole Antropa circle is their type of strategy to see if they can algorithmically like stimulate a coin. That's just my
I
opinion.
think there's too much to stimulate right now because no one's using anything. Everything's being paired to like if people
Dude,
still don't realize. People still don't realize that Hex on a short-term stake outperforms your pulse validating. So why validate your pulse? Like it literally, like you want to talk, like let's talk numbers. Okay.
does it
Well, since
validate
the
their pulse or the?
yes, since the beginning, like people, okay, like I always say this: no one's doing this for benevolency. Everyone's doing this for money. Everyone's doing this because I want to make money, right? So that's stupid because they're not thinking about what's smart and what's not. So I'm looking at people and I'm saying, and I say this: I say, okay, you're in it for the money, right? So why are you validating with Pulse? It gives you this much reward. Okay. Now, if you realize that since the beginning, due to this chart, due to this how this works, if you would have just scheduled mints with Hex on a short-term basis, just because of the bigger pays better bonus, you're outpacing the validator rewards. So what's the
I think
point of
The
validating?
thing is, wait, famous. Is there a point in the future where that may not be true, just
100%.
because PLS could appreciate? Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course,
So,
that can
so,
happen. But
so,
right
so it's
now,
kind of it's kind of like as a miners, some miners were mining as a loss just because they thought the asset could become profitable,
why did they take out
or
the
the mining could be profitable in the future.
all I'm saying
Hold
right
on,
now is that people are
question.
being hypocrites. So that means that you're telling me there's a lot of benevolency.
So you're
So if there's
telling me a
benevolency,
thousand
why are
dollars?
we doing
So
this?
you're telling me $1,000 in
Possibly,
Hex can
possibly.
get you better rewards than a thousand
Yeah,
dollars in the
I just did it
validators?
in two. I just did it for 2 weeks. Go, bro! I outperform validating rewards for like you have no clue. It's disgusting, bro. Just be if you take 10,000 PX and you go on
With
a
the
fucking
depreciation of Hex, how did that happen?
because what do you mean? The appreciation of hex to pulse. What do you mean? There's
So
hex and pulse. You're looking at price again. You're getting
so what's
fucked.
the what's the what's
You're
the
looking at
what's the
price.
what's the difference
Go look at the
in
chart. Just go look
APR,
at the chart.
or
Just go
what's the
look at the
difference
chart.
in your? I'm looking at the chart. So how would someone?
I doubled my reward, so it's giving me what I doubled what I was supposed to get in pulse approximately. I have to go get. I'm not on my computer, but like I could go read what I did. But for 2 weeks, it did like just go look, man. Just do the numbers. Like it's literally that easy because everything has been so constant to the point where it's like you could just put 6.5 in the payout, and then the bigger pays better is normal. That doesn't change. The bigger pays better always is that.
I mean,
So it only
if you want, I have numbers for the validators in the past 2 weeks, right? Because I run
yeah. How
one.
much?
So how much was the 2 weeks
Let me go right now.
on a hex
Let me
stake?
check. Just by the way things are moving, I could just give you the next 2 weeks, and I'll tell you what the next 2 weeks is going to give you. So give me a second. And it is 20 times less riskier to the point where I say that the hex mint, scheduling a mint on hex is at literally at a zero risk. If you look at it at price, you ruin everything. But when you look at it in crypto, the minting of hex is at zero risk. Literally,
Yeah, compared to all the
it's
slashing and all.
literally zero risk, and
But
that
I'm
should
just
speak
thinking
volumes.
like aren't there a subset of people who think like Hex will 100x but Pulse will 10,000x, right? Isn't there a subset of people that think like that and that's why they're doing what they're doing?
I mean, there always would be subsets of people convicted to their.
It's a trade they're making, right? They're like, okay, we're early validators, we've got some positioning here. Like I can understand maybe their reasoning.
I mean, doesn't it just all depend on the hex to pulse ratio? At the end of the day, if that hex the pulse ratio keeps going the same
How,
way, it just makes more sense to stake the hex and then swap the yield into
how
pulse.
much would you make? How much would you make? Right.
Yeah.
But you also have to think too. Like, okay,
So
with
I'm going back from
so with
August.
but the validating rewards are with 30. You need 32 million.
Yeah, 32
You know what
million,
I
which
mean?
was
Okay, so
$1,000.
Yeah.
Now it's
so
worth
32, so 30, so
400.
32 million right now. Let me give you the numbers, right? That's why to me it wasn't making sense. Okay, cool. So 32 million. That's why it wasn't making sense to me. It's $1,284. That's technically
So you're saying if you was to take that 32 million pulse
it's
and stake
140. Listen, it's 141,000. It's 142,000 hex. Okay, that's 32 million pulse right now. So if I were to go and stake for the next 2 weeks on a 14-day stake, I would have 4.died T shares, 14 days. So you got to do 4.died times 6.5 times 14. You're getting 445 plus how much is it giving you here? 1,000. So you're having 1,445 hex.
So you have 1,000 what? 45?
Yeah.
All right, that gives you.
Because that's $13 worth of hex. 323,000 pulse. Now, if you're doing 32 million pulse and your APR is at 20%, sometimes 20, and you're making 6 million, you divide that by 3.65. You're supposed to be making 17,534. So that times 14, I'm actually outperforming. I should be getting with the validating at 20% APR. In 2 weeks, I make 245,000 pulse.
For the validator you just said was definitely wrong because I definitely got more than 17 over here.
Then how much are you getting?
So
It doesn't matter about per day.
starting
What's your
from
APR?
August, I'm going back from the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So starting from August, what's 15 to 16? That's was like 10,000, 6,000, 1,200, 6,000, 8,000.
So you're doing
4,000.
even less. So then I did
So
4
these are
times.
dailies.
So
These are dailies. I'm just
yeah,
saying.
yeah. So you should be making 17,000 on the daily. You should be making at a 20% APR on your 32 million pulse. You should be making 17,000.
Oh, so that's a
I just
daily
did it.
you were saying, or on the whole
Yeah,
overall 2 weeks?
bro. On the daily, you should be making 17,000.
And then on the daily, we're making the 300K. Is that what you're saying?
No, 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 no. Okay, so listen to me. Listen to me. You
I'm asking.
on the day. Yeah, I know. So on the daily, 32 million, right? 32 million at a 20% gives you 6.4 million. So if you have a 20% APR, you're supposed to make 6.4. You're estimated to make 6.4 million. If I divide that by 365,
6.4
because that's a
million.
year,
Uh-huh.
that's 17.5 thousand. You should be averaging about 17.5
But you also
per
got
day. So
slashings too. But yeah, okay.
but I understand. I completely understand. I'm not taking into consideration those negative externalities that are worse for your cause and better for mine, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, right now, is that you just told me the different numbers, and they don't even amount to that 17. So if you look at the hex staking, if you were to take that same amount and go in the hex for the 14 weeks, you made 350,000, right? So I'm going to do the number 350,000 hex divided by 14. You're averaging about 25,000 pulse per day. So the 25,000 pulse per day, so 25,000, we have to multiply that by the 365. Then I got to take that 9.1 million. That 9.1 million, I divide it by the 32 million.
9.1 million.
You're technically at a 28% APR
Hold on.
compared to the
9.1
APR.
million. What's that?
Okay, come back.
Yeah,
You're
please
making
come back.
25. You're making 25,000 pulse per day on that
Okay,
14
but
week.
where did the 1445 number come from? From 1445 hex that you get.
That's how much hex you make off of the 142,000 that you stake. So you stake 142,000 for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks.
Right? Which gives you in 2 weeks you're gonna have hex. Okay, cool.
1445.
That's guaranteed.
Hex, yeah.
That's guaranteed,
Yeah.
right? Like that's a guaranteed because you can
So by
calculate
the
it.
end of the
Now,
14 days, you're going to
now
make
that T
325 pulse. When you swap that 1445 for pulse, it's
it's
325 pulse.
yeah, yes.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
And then you take that,
You
and
didn't
then
hear
you
what
take
I
that.
said earlier. I said, so
Yeah,
basically, instead of 17K in the 14 days,
I'd
it's
be making 25.
325.
No. You bro, I don't understand. You don't understand. It's
Oh
7.
wait, hex is worth more than pulse, Mello.
Yeah, man.
Your conversion was wrong.
You have to
No.
think.
So okay. So basically, you make. I'm saying what y'all saying. So
No,
you
no, no.
make
You're not listening. You're saying
325
it wrong. You're saying it.
PLS.
Mellow. Just go on the Pulse X.
You,
Take.
you said 345 pulse. It's not
No,
right.
345, 325K.
Yeah, that's how much you make, bro.
Okay.
That's how
Yeah,
much pulse you make.
yeah. That's okay. So that's what I'm saying. So
You outperform. I'm out,
Yeah, so
and
you're saying that you're making 325K pulse in 14 days,
yeah,
and the validators are making 17K in
a day.
14 days. Oh,
No,
a day.
no, bro. You just gave me numbers of how much you were making per day.
I'm
You
asking,
need,
but that's minusing the slashes. But I'm asking you, how much was it
but it
per
doesn't
day,
matter. Why aren't
or
you
for
letting me
14
just mellow,
days that
mellow,
you came
mellow?
up
Just
with?
shut up. Just listen to me, man. Listen to me, okay? Can you just tell me right now in 14 days how much you made? Just impulse. Just impulse. It doesn't matter about slashes. I don't give a fuck, okay? I don't care about the electricity cost. I just want to know how much pulse you made. Can you calculate that for me for the last 14 days and we'll make it easier?
No, I hear you. I hear you. I'm just trying to figure out 17.
Yeah,
Is that a
seven. The
day?
seven. Yeah, it's a day because, bro, do
Okay.
the calculate. I know you're intelligent enough to do this, so I'm getting mad. If you weren't, I
All
would
right,
be
so
like,
that's
no, listen.
238K pulse.
Exactly, that you would make in 14 days, but I'm making
All
350.
right,
So
now
if you
I
take 350 divided by that, I'm making like a 30% APY as to,
Hey,
I'm
famous, you're getting
assuming.
ahead. You're getting ahead of my reason.
Can you
Damn
guys
it!
hear
I
me?
got a phone call. But I'm trying to ask you that if you were talking about a day or the whole 14 days, because you said 17, and I thought you were talking about for the whole 14 days.
Oh, and that's why you were buzzing. You were like, nah, man, I'm making like 8,006. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
No, no,
there
no.
we
It's
go.
17 on average. At a 20% APY, that's what I was saying was at a 20% APY, right? Because you have a variable APY. It's not constant, but I'm saying if you average for the year a 20% APY, you're only going to make 17,000 a day. Right now, if you do a 2-week stake at the same price of what it costs you to validate, well, you're outperforming the validation by doing hex. And right now, you could also sell into it because it's such a liquid pair. And that's why no one's talking about it, because everyone in these little private chats, okay, have people who think like me out on a fucking hustling basis. Except I've been trying to tell people, and every time I talk, I'm just getting cut off by people and we talk about oranges.
But famous, is there a point where Pulse maybe has some sort of spike
Right now, no.
that Hex maybe doesn't because liquidity pool shift or something
Yeah, I
happens,
could, but right now, if you look at the graph for the
right?
last 100 days,
The
110
thing
days,
is,
look at the graph.
if yeah, but the thing is, if that's your plan, wouldn't it make sense to stay in Pulse and kind of live in that system where you're just making gains in Pulse? I'm just saying, like
Oh,
from
why
a
not both? Be both.
Pulse
Um,
Maxi's perspective or something, right?
yes
Let's
and
take their
yes and
perspective.
no, but it's just the reason why I'm not comparing it with like a 6 month, right? Like you have to understand something. I'm not giving you a 6 month outlook, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
I'm giving you a 2 weeks. Why? Well, because it's like, well, what could you be doing in 2 weeks? Like everyone has something they're keeping, right? They either hold pulse or they hold hex, and it's like 2 weeks, bruh. It's not gonna cost you $25 to unstake. It's gonna cost you fuck all to unstake. It's like a couple thousand pulse, and you're making hundreds of thousands of pulse every 2 weeks with the hex. So if you think about it, in a month, you could just gather off of staking your hex, right? Off of staking your hex, or taking something that you are currently hold. That's why I'm saying if you hold pulse or you hold pulse X, especially pulse X, Pulse X is garbage right now. If you have Pulse X, you go into Hex, and then you stake the Hex for 2 weeks, then you just slowly buy back into your position.
Yeah. Over time, I think you're right. But initially, you are removing your exposure to Pulse for that Hex
Well,
position, right?
technically,
Yeah.
in 2 years, if it continues the way it does, because I don't know if the graph will continue like this, but if we stay at this momentum, in 2 years, you would be doubling your validation. Like, would you double your
Oh,
Would
yeah,
you
yeah.
be
If,
doubling,
if everything else was constant, yeah,
and you wouldn't
definitely it
even
would
have
be
to validate. So
way.
you can allow people more benevolent, because like people want to make money, right? So a lot of people are doing this validation to make money, and then they don't make money, and then they stop validating.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So every 14 days, somebody's to stake. Is that more beneficial than doing yearly stakes?
Yeah, of course. To you as a staker, and to you and to me as an old, yeah, of course. Why not? We're
And what's the
burning t-shirts.
threshold of the bigger pays better?
What do you mean with the threshold? Like, what's the max?
Like,
Think-
what's the minimum that you have to pass to become bigger pays better?
Well, from what I've looked at,
The
is that
bonus.
it's profitable at 10,000. It's profitable at 10,000 hex. So if you look at what it does at 10,000 hex compared to how much 10,000 hex would be in Pulse, and if you were to validate that at that percentage, but you can't even use that much. You can't even do anything with Pulse if it's not 32 million. Like you got to LP, and then if we go into LPing, well, man, I'm laughing to shithole on my argument because one, the L1, the V1 is useless. The V2, there's not enough volume for you to even make money with Pulse. But then you have to go and take more risk or more leveraging and leverage your Pulse and go into another asset in order to do the LP. That's why I'm looking at Hex and I'm like, bro, this is completely so low risk because it's like you don't need to leverage your position. You don't need to go into this LP, which is like you have to bribe people doing transactions and volume. You just bribe the contract, which is guaranteed because the contract guarantees you this. And this is why I laugh with people is because like people don't even understand Hex. They don't. They just say, yeah, the T-shares, the T-shares. It's like, why aren't you burning the T-shares? I want to keep the T-shares. No, why aren't we burning them? Bro, if you have 100 T-shares, you should be telling the other sucker to burn his T-shares, not get more T-shares. Doesn't make sense. It's stupid. That's not how it works. It's like you have to make people understand. It's like the ability to utilize the mathematical problem on the contract. And the contract says this. So I'm not even telling you this is profitable because of T-shares. T-shares has nothing to do with this.
My next question is gonna be like, don't you need 22,000 hex to actually get a T share? So why is 10,000 hex more?
It's not even because of the T-share. It's because of the bigger pays better bonus. That bigger pays better bonus makes it worth it. Just that. So if when we were doing the 142,000 hex, I was getting 4.9 T-shares, right? So that 4.9 T-shares gave me half of what the bigger pays better bonus gave me. So if you look at it, okay, if you really look at it, well, it's the bigger pays better pays more than your T-shares. So what's really better, the T-shares or the contract? Because to me, when I look at it as a business perspective, if I'm doing a 2-week stake and my goal is to get more, well, I'm getting twice the amount because of this part of the contract, not because of this part. This part's giving me 50%. So I'm getting 33% of what I receive is the T-shares, and the 66% of what I receive is the contract because the contract says it gives me a bonus. So now I'm looking at it like, bro, these people don't even know what they're saying. No one's ever talked about this.
Yeah, man. At this point, I use Hex to what it's for, a certified deposit. Whenever I make my gains, I send it there, and bigger pays better, and that's really what I play with. But I don't really go past a year or two anymore because there's really, I got my ladder.
But then, Mello,
set,
look at the chart. Just
set.
pull up the Hex Pulse chart and just
Exactly.
boom it 110. Just boom it 110. In my opinion, this last 110 days would have been so profitable for someone to just say, it would have been so profitable for you to just sell your Pulse into Hex. But then you got to realize, dude, are they doing that? I think they're doing that because it only makes sense. If your Pulse is only worth so much and you just keep dumping everything into a coin, right, that has nothing to do with why the value of the chain is worth it, well, then everything's just going to go down. And the coin that is apparently, quote unquote, by Hart's Law, so valuable will go down with everything because its main source of liquidity is paired to a coin that everyone is dumping to get rid of so they can get this coin. So right now, no one even sees this, but Hex is so valuable that they have to suppress the price or else it's too valuable. You get what I just said?
We also got to see, like, when you see the post chart as well, it hasn't been affected much. So I feel like these gains that came into Hex are not from Pulse. They're not swapping out of Pulse. They're swapping from other tokens, other places. So that might be a reason why Hex is outweighing the that Hex Pulse chart.
Well, the big boys are not good at counting, bro. I was expecting people to good account up the numbers, right? But now I get it why they're not doing it. Now I get why all these big players are not, and they're not actually being benevolent on Pulsechain, and they're allowing it to be the same as Ethereum because the people that can change it have both options to change it. And right now it's so easy to receive in a short term that if you were to change it and make it harder, then it would technically be even more valuable. Because then when you think about it, it costs more, so you would have to pay more, and therefore it would just cost more. So your coin would be worth more, and then if it's worth more, you're just making more because Pulse would eventually just go even lower. So right now, you need to keep everything at a certain price. You need to keep it at a certain price because it's gonna be. Bro, imagine if Hex was at 10 cents and we were able to make 1,000 Pulse a week. Bro, that's insane. With $10,000, you're able to make $100 every week. Like, bro, that's crazy. There would be no more money. Like people would just be like, bang, 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 bang. No one even give a fuck about the future. It would just be so total out of freak. But right now, it's at a point where it's not a big buy. You only get it if you have that much. Like, think about it too. Like, go put like 1,000,000 pulse. Go put like 1,000,000 hex, which a lot of people have compared to a lot of pulse. And there's a lot of liquidity, so it's like, bro, you could just run through it. So go put 1,000,000 hex and see how much the bigger pays better bonus gives you. It's just like, what the fuck? Okay, cool. And that's 1 week. Okay, perfect. Give it to me. I'm like, I know there's people out there holding like hex, or you're 100% staked, and if that's the case, then you should have a 2-week stake.
See, I like that. I like how you're not saying, "Yo, go 555 that shit," like most of these people are saying now, or it has been saying.
But I would say to have one. Why wouldn't you have a 555, bro? I wish
Yeah,
I wish I
one,
still had my
yes. Have a
bitcoins, bro.
couple.
I wish I had my 2013 bitcoin.
Saying laddering a 555, like that's just, and then you're throwing thousands. You're not even doing a bigger pays better or anything. You're just throwing $100,
No, you got to think about
$500.
it like, you got to think about it. The way I thought about it was like, yo, 10 T shares for a 555, bro. 10 T shares? Like, there's only, I'm like,
10
there's only,
T-shares? How
I'm like,
much is that?
I'm like, there's only 10 million of it and it burns. I'm like, okay, there's only 10 million of it. How much can be created? Only like 55 million, anyways. I'm just like, okay, so it's still millions of it. So I'm like, 10 Bitcoin is still gonna be hundreds of thousands of dollars, but right now Bitcoin is only worth thousands of dollars. Which, if I look at the denomination of what the million is to the billions, right? So it's 1,000 times. So it's like we're still good when it comes to Hex, because Hex only has to go to like so much, right?
So 10 T shares is $2,000. So that's a good. So you're saying
So
10 T shares
I
is
say, like, if there's another 1,000%,
555.
like you think about it, it's like another 1,000% availability, and we can do another like 100 to 1,000x on that. So if I have 10 T shares at $200,000, and that's still $2 million with $1,000. So I said, okay, that's a 555. But I'm also accumulating for those 15 years on a contract that I'm just getting my proportion of that forever. Right? So, like, if forever it gets harder to get this shit, well, then forever I will keep getting more and more of the inflation. Like, that's how I saw it. I don't see the 555 as like the make it or break it. It's like, no, this is an option. Like, you definitely, like, you should be rich enough in Hex to do 1-day stakes. There has to be a way to look at the 1-day stakes and say this outperforms this, right? Like, people should be working daily. Like, there's a certain waterfall.
Are you sure though? Because listen. Okay,
How do you want to be
the whole
into
point of Hex though? Hold on. The whole point of a Hex or certified deposit is not to just take your savings account, every little dollar you have, and throw it in there. This is
No, it's to
something
get
that
gains.
you
Hex is
throw.
to get gains. The contracts is to just get gains. That's
I'm
what you
just
do.
saying, like, generally speaking, from if you want to make this a traditional or decentralized financial program to replace traditional finance, this needs to be used as it is made. And that being, gaming that whole thing is just going to make it, I feel like, ruining it with that. People just need to use it as it is. People
No,
throwing
but it's gonna
small
stop on
things.
one. But it's gonna
Yeah,
stop
people are
on one
gonna go
point.
broke. People are over collateralized. People are gonna be like stuck in stakes where they can't move around. They're stuck for plenty of years.
Yeah, but did you hear what Dip Catcher said, that it breaks?
Oh yeah, I saw that where it ends the
So
what's
that's
it called?
perfect. There you go.
And that's interesting. That's very
But
interesting
that
to
there you
see.
go. There you go. That's the solution to what you just said. That's the solution. There's
So
gonna be
what?
no more
Just
staking.
everybody just stake whatever you have until
No,
then.
it's you want to, nothing happens, bro. Then
I
you
know.
create a system. Like, how cool would it be now that if we could actually burn our debt? Be like, you know what? All of us, 2% of our debt erased this year. Deflation for everybody. 2% debt, everyone done. Because of how much taxes we're paying and how much we've been doing well and how much money the government's been making, we can actually afford to say that we're burning 2% of the supply. Therefore, everyone becomes richer. Therefore, you lose 2% of your debt. That's the opposite of what's happening right now, which is, hey guys, you're all becoming poorer. Your debts become poorer, right? So it's less valuable. So your $10,000 debt, which was worth more before, now it's worth less. So don't worry about it. You'll pay it easier. But we're also going to inflate the money supply, and we're also going to create this fucking shit. That's the opposite of what they're doing. But with the way that Hex has it set up, you could actually create that opposite, which it would be, yes, we could erase your debt, because you can borrow off of Hex. So you can erase your debt. And if you erase your debt, technically, I think Hedron would still work, because I don't think Hedron works off of T shares. I think it works off of it,
shares as its own.
but not just B shares, right? What are shares? The shares are the calculation of the blockchain, right? So, like, I've always said this: T-shares don't exist. They don't exist for a reason, because it's the consequence of things. It's the consequences of things, of the ledger that it calculates. That's why it costs us a lot to do it. So technically, you could, even if Hex doesn't peace out anymore, you can use Hex to have this proportionality discount. So if you're burning on a benevolent level, then you should get things that are worth it, right? So if you're getting, like, if you're burning money on a certain regular, you should get notes saying that, hey, I burnt it, so I made everyone's money more worth it. And
So if
now you're
people
talking
use
about
it
it. Now you're talking
properly,
about it. Now you're talking about a
and
different type
people
of
use it
system.
properly and do that's something that can be seen, like where it's valued to be used as a savings account. Like literally, you throw your money in there and let your money make money. And people need to know that bigger pays better, and that's the whole point. So that needs to be more addressed and started, like people can invest responsibly instead of just throwing money into it and then realizing later on that, oh, they made a mistake, and then now they're emotional, and then they're emergency end staking because they need it, and then they suffer the penalty and they don't care, and now it's because it's a cheaper chain, so you're not suffering that much gas, but you're gonna suffer on the initial. So like, it's like, what's, how many times did this happen? Yeah, it's gonna pay out. It's gonna pay out to the people that are staked. That's good, but people need to know, like, not to get wrecked, and continuing how we can keep this stable. I feel like if we stay constant, that's fine for Hex. I mean, that it doesn't even need to go up in value. You're still making Hex every day, right?
Yeah,
That's still money making every day.
yeah, but do people understand that is a zero risk?
Yeah, zero, literally zero risk if
But
it
on
goes
a
constant.
crypto level, because people just have this constant, like, this, I know this, I fucking shit on people all the time for this, is they look at it at price, right? Now, I've been stressing because I know people change their views and they don't look at it at price anymore. But when we look at it on a crypto perspective, it has no risk. This minting capability function in the contract, right? Like, I don't even like saying staking anymore. I'm not saying staking anymore. I'm calling it what. Like, I think it's time. Like, I'm actually being very impressed, because it's like, I know the OGs are doing this, because it's like, look at the charts, and it's just like, okay, so if that's what they're doing, then I'm looking at, like, what would I do with Pulsex? And right now it's almost at 4, and if it's gonna hit the 4, or it's gonna soon go to 6, it's gonna pass right, but it's gonna blow right through 5. Like, I'm telling you, it's gonna blow right through. It's not gonna stay at 5. It's gonna go to 6, and then come back.
You're making me want to buy some more Hex just to have liquid now.
Bro, you should just do 2 weeks, bro. If like, think about it, man. With 10,000 hex, like go buy $100 worth of hex and just have it staked every 2 weeks. You'll make money. You're gonna make money.
Oh, what?
You're just gonna make money.
How much
Like,
are you gonna make? Let's do the math. Come on.
but like, let's just do it. Who cares how much you're gonna make? You're just gonna make money. You're gonna make money. Like, look at the V1. You don't know if you're gonna make money. You'll make ink. Okay, cool. But
Hey,
that's
dude, trust me, I'm a yield farmer. I'm not finna put $100. I can take that $100 and go make 2,000%, 3,000% somewhere else, dude. I'm telling you, I have Hex stakes. I'm just saying that's not how it's
but how
supposed to be
risky is
made.
that? But how
That's
risky
not
is that?
how it's supposed
How
to.
could you entice
Life is
people?
risky, buddy.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the way we're, like, okay, well then, but then that's why we get the conversations we have, and we have these clashes with people, and
Yeah, I
it's
know.
like, yeah, well, you just said I could get 3,000% APY. Like, okay, bro, like, that's wonderful, but like, that's not forever. This hex shit is forever. So, like, if
Of
people can
course, of course.
understand,
That's why I said use it properly.
yeah.
This is not a
But do you
hundred
hear?
dollars though.
Yeah,
Really,
why
why
not?
not? Why not put that $100 in stables?
Because everyone can
Keep it.
afford $100. I never go
No,
higher,
no.
bro. I mean, I'm
Listen to
doing it with all
Famous.
shitload, but like, it's like,
I understand, Famous. But
I
the whole
don't
point
like
was
saying
bigger pays
numbers.
better. I understand, Famous. The point is bigger pays better.
Yeah,
Keep your gains, keep your money in stables, right? Your savings account. Let's talk traditional. Put your money in savings account. Let's say I came up.
but that's your
Now I got $10,000.
but
Now I
that's your
got ten
plan. But
thousand
that's your plan,
dollars.
and all I'm trying
I
to
can
say.
then take that $10,000 and I can go put it in this hex stake, or sorry, hex mint, a miner, and that will give me more hex, right?
It's not
So
a minor. It's a minting. It's a
a
minting
minter,
schedule. You
sorry,
mint the schedule, right? Bro,
and it
like,
gives
think
me
about
more
it.
hex,
Think
right?
about it,
So
Mello.
that's
Forget
what I'm
about
saying.
staking. Forget about mining. Okay, it makes no sense. We don't buy hardware, and we don't validate. So we're
Sorry,
not
I was looking
staking.
for that word you were
Yes, it's
using.
scheduled mintings. We have to start doing this properly and say, well, no, when you schedule your mints, right? Because you're scheduling a mint. That's exactly what we're doing. You can go mint it later on, and you mint money. So if we could do that, And this community needs to start talking intelligently. Like, bro, this is money. I'm talking money, bro. Like, if I go see people who make money, like, yo, you want to sell dope on the street? Wouldn't you like having no risk? You didn't have employees. You didn't have to buy a product. You didn't have to have customers. All you got to do is put this and it pumps. Like, isn't this no, like, is this crazy risk? No risk. And people are not pointing it, like they're just saying, oh, well, it's one of the best savings of your money. No, it's not. It doesn't save your money. If you want to take the risk of having appreciation, right? If you want to come in crypto, once you're in crypto, if you want to make a yield on something that appreciates or has the potential to appreciate, then you can make a guaranteed yield off this. And that's how we have to push it. But people are not pushing it like that. They're pushing it like a lie. The lie of what it is. It's not a good store of value. It's a volatile coin.
Exactly why I'm saying what I'm saying. So you put it in the stable, and it's better to pay. Biggers pay better once you get to a certain threshold of your risk tolerance. You say, hey, I can go ahead and that's why I asked you, what is that threshold of hex that turns on the bigger pays better bonus, right? And you said
I think
around
it's just
10,000.
one more. I think it's more. No. I think it's 2 hex. 2 hex gives you 1 hex gives you nothing. I think.
That's longer pays better.
No, the bigger, the
Bigger
longer.
is the units of hex.
Yeah, actually, I think you're right. Hold up.
Longer is the time.
Go back on icosa. Hold up, icosa.
So let's say you stack your stable. You make gains in
Well,
the
what's it?
ecosystem, right? You throw your ecosystem gains into a stable and you sit there. Now, whenever you're ready, right? You say, hey, let me throw a year. This looks like a good dip on Hex. Let me buy some Hex. I spent 10,000 on Hex and now I got a bunch of Hex. I can then take that and stake it. Now I got a bunch of T-shares for the low, right? And now
Yeah,
I can go take it,
but you're
stake
always, but
for
you're on the die
14 days,
level.
like you said. If you want 14 days, like you said, if that's the bigger pays better portion or threshold,
Yeah, but
right?
if you go on die, bro, you already lost because of the way that it just dropped
Die.
in
I'm not.
value
I
at
didn't say
night.
it said stable. A stable. Like it's the stable. It could be our local stable here that's gonna come
Yeah,
out.
but
Or
but it
the
doesn't.
coast.
But my point is against Pulse because I'm not telling you to do it on Ethereum. I'm telling you to do it on Pulse for a reason because it's against Pulse. When you look at Hex versus Pulse, the chart just makes it more valuable. So you're not losing. You cannot lose because if the coin goes down 40% and you make so much on an APY, it's what's the point? You still lose in dollar
Yeah,
terms.
you're
That's why
still
I don't
down
like.
40%.
Yeah, but that's why I don't want to talk about it in a stable. Like you're bringing it into the stable, but then once
Oh
you do
no,
that,
because
I
you,
cringe
dude, you
because I'm like,
have
no, it's
to.
not profitable. No,
I'm
but then
just
you
saying that's just life, bro. We live in right now until the world changes, until we can live off of digital currency, dude. This is
I
how we.
can live, but I can live off digital currency. I know this is what you don't get. Like
You can
you're
swap your tokens. You could send your
yeah,
tokens
I
for a
can live off the
product.
crypto if I want. If I want to
You can
today,
barter your
tomorrow.
tokens right now.
Yeah, bro, I could do whatever the fuck I want. I could go on Aave, borrow money. I could go right now and
Oh
sell
no
my
no no!
crypto. I
I'm
could get
saying
paid in
I can
crypto.
pay my
I have
I'm talking
doctor
about in the
tax
bills
real
in
benefit.
world.
crypto. I can pay my King House note in crypto. Come on, are you new, dude?
In the United States,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah,
Shit,
I can go to Prada with my
my
crypto. I can
landlord
go to Nike. I can go to Puma. I can go anywhere I want with mine. Come on now.
with the Bitcoin, right?
Nah,
With what exactly?
with my Hex.
Are you talking about now payments?
Yep.
Okay, so that's a good way to do the payments, but I'm talking more on like your rent, your food,
Yeah, but bro,
groceries, necessities.
worldwide, this is real, bro. Like crypto is a thing, bro. Like Mello, I
I
love
know
you,
that. I
but
know that.
so then stop saying that
But
because it's coming for you. It's coming. It's just the day. That's why stack your shit. Keep stacking your bit refill for you. Like Hexdeck
dude, I
says this
have
all the time.
crypto.com. I have a card. I have a debit card. I
So then
know.
why you complain? Then you can definitely use crypto to pay because it's like the same thing for
But
your
I
cash.
have to swap it for dude. There, my card. Listen, the card. No card takes.
But you can't pay for a fucking hotel with cash. You have to do the same process with cash to your credit card to get a hotel. It makes no sense what you're saying, bro. You live a life of grandiose, like crypto is not gonna do that, bro. I can't even do
Hold on,
certain things with
what?
cash. What do you mean? You can't get a hotel with cash, bro.
Who can't get a hotel with cash?
But you can't. That they doing something illegal. You have to have a credit card.
Okay, well,
Right? So
there's
you gotta
people
take
that
your
think
cash
cash.
and put it on
But
your
what
credit
I'm
card.
saying is
Right?
crypto. Can I P2P transfer right now with my landlord, with
Yeah,
bills for
but
Georgia
P2P has not
Power,
but
with like
P2P
my
has to
water
do with your
company?
But P2P has to do with the entity. It has nothing to do with the
Okay, so that's
opportunity.
what I'm asking. You
But you
have to
can do
transfer it
P2P.
to units of dollar to even realize what you're spending.
Dude, you could actually do
You're not
P2P.
sending them ETH. You're not sending them Bitcoin. You're not sending them Solana. They're not accepting Solana. They're not accepting ETH. They're not accepting Hex. They're not
No, where
accepting
you are,
Pulsechain.
where you are, which is a poor,
That's that
like
in the
a
United
mid,
States.
but it's a
Unless you try to go
proportion of crypto.
shopping. Yeah, you
But
can
that's
go
a
shopping with Shopify. You can go shopping. You go buy clothes from different suppliers. Yeah, those are private suppliers. I'm talking about living necessities, paying my bills.
I
Like
could
my
do
phone.
that.
Okay.
No, actually,
Maybe where
bit
you
refill.
are,
No,
but
no,
where I am is
wait.
we're
Bit
restricted.
refill. No, bit refill. You could do that. Bit refill gives you options and categories and says food, telecommunications, gaming. The options. Now, if you want to go to Whole Foods but it gives you Publix, like okay, fine, but that just becomes at that point a consumer base. It has nothing to do with the option, right? Because I can't go to certain places with this, and I can go with places with this.
I'm looking at the website right now. So basically, this is a e gift card, right? It's a
Yeah.
like okay.
But
So
you,
basically, when you send your crypto to them, they give you whatever currency is in that gift card.
no, you give you a gift card. They give you money to a store. They
Yeah,
give
how
you a.
much money to the store do they give you?
But
So
what
if
do you think you do when you P2P? When you do a P2P, what does the person say? Okay, well, perfect. Now you have a store credit of this. And I enjoy. Go buy.
but
What do
they
you
accept the
But you could
actual.
teach them how to do it real quick. Also,
No,
they're
but
gonna
no,
have to learn. They're gonna have to know.
well, bro, like, like, yo, I could go on cryptohouses.pt, call someone up. Yo, bro, I got 6 Bitcoin for that house. Perfect. Let's do it. Boom, done. Go do the signing. That's it. It's done. It's worldwide shit, bro. You go anywhere in the world, in my opinion, anywhere. There's someone out there. There's something. There's Bitcoin. Go look at Bitcoin ATMs, bro. There's everywhere.